Paint strokes hit the screen like a heartbeat. Teek Fox in the zone, can't skip a beat. Tutorials blazing, it's spark the art. Digital canvas, when a legend start.
Hey, welcome. Nice to see you all. Hey, Bella. Today we're going to be looking at gradients, as you can see on the screen here, and it's just one color going into another. In fact, we got three here, but you'll see. Hey, segmenter. So let's get straight on with it. Command the demo. And first thing we always do, what is it? So I just briefly explained. Goes from one color to the other. You can do that in various different ways that we'll go through. And that's basically the gradient. Don't know what else to say on that. So where do we find it? Now we find it actually on the left-hand toolbar on the iPad anyway. And it's the icon that's actually lit up right now, the one that I'm going to press near, somewhere around there. You see gradient tool. So it's this funny looking icon you see here. So that is where to find it. Now, how it's done. So when you first turn it on, there's something called linear, which is the straight line from one color to another, or how many steps you have in between. So that is like, yeah, this one in example, it's got three. So it's blue, purple, and pink. Then at the top here, as you can see, there's various things you can turn to on the context menu, and we'll just go through some now. Hey, Nikki. Sorry, couldn't find the stream. For those struggling with the same problem, we do put it on the Discord group, and it's in like check this out and class announcements. So both of those, just in case you need it in the future. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So you turn the context menu to elliptical for the next one, and it's got that kind of oval shape. So still the same, going from blue, purple, pink. It has that oval to it. You see there? The next option is radial. This is basically, it goes from the middle to the outside. So in this example, you got the blue, and then it goes to purple, and the corners are pink. This is ideal for something like showing off a product, that kind of thing. Because you can put it from white to black, so it looks like a spotlight on the item. Then it goes into conical, and there isn't many uses for this one, but as you can see, it's kind of like a pie chart, so it goes around it in a circle. So as you can see, the pink gets more and more blue as it goes around, and then there's that line where they're complete opposites. Yeah, it's very unusual to use that one. And then the only other function it has is something called bitmap. Now you have to attach it to like a seamless pattern, which we'll talk about in another live, so that's fine. So we'll leave that one for now. But bitmap is something else that it does. Even though that's not really a gradient, it uses the gradient tool. So that is these. And now I'm just going to show you some examples of where you would use these. So the first, these aren't drawn by me, by the way. Just before you do say, wow, they're good. They were just taken offline. Pixabay, I think it was. So in this example, the first one, they've used a linear blur for the coffee in the cup, because the closer it is to your eye, the more shadow is going to be on it because of the rim of the cup, and then it gets brighter further away. So that is example of linear. Just reading your question, Nikki. Looks like I caught the arrow button in the class section. Oh yeah, and when it shuts down. Yeah, I've done that. Wondering why you couldn't find it. Yeah, that does happen. It happens to me on other people's. Like you close it and then that chat's gone, and it's like where? Yeah, that is something that happens. So going on to our next example is an eye that you can see here, and this is an example of the elliptical. So what they've got is going from white to like a dark grey, and this works for the eye because the eye's not round, it's like oval. So as you can see, it sort of spreads out, gets greyer and greyer and greyer, and that's what makes it look 3D. That's really good on there. Again, not mine. The next example, this light bulb, and we'll show you this one actually, because even though it's not looking like it's round, it is actually the round one. So if I pull up NI, you'll see it's actually the round, and the way they've used it is genius. Hopefully you can see that there. Like the more black, the more white it gets. The more I go in, the more yellow it gets. To a white point in that middle, right where you would get the white of the light. It's quite good on this one then. So that is fatal. Now, this one I did draw, and it's because it's very hard to find an example of conical. And the only thing that I could think of was an umbrella. You could do like the top of an umbrella, and then this radar screen. And when I seen the other way sort of radars look in pictures, I was like, that is what I'm going to use. And I'll show you what I mean. So, just trying to get onto the circle with the, I think it's this one. No. The next one. I'm just trying to find. Oh yeah, that one. So, as you can see, it's actually the conical effect. So you can freeze it and turn it all sorts. So that is how this one works. And this actually looks just like radar would. That is why I used it. But you make one side green, one side black. But I've also made this little guy in the middle. So this is black as well. And as you can see, the more I put it up to the green, the less of it you see. So there we go. And that's how I pulled off the conical effect on this radar. And just like that. Yeah, I thought that was a good way to explain that one. I hope that was okay for you. Just leading your question again, Nikki. Oh, Bella as well. Another person I missed there. You may want to check out settings in Discord. Yeah, so there used to be a function where it cleared cache, so you could see extra rooms and things stuff. Like when I've added a room, so like I add it right now, you won't be able to see that room. So you have to clear the cache, then you can see the room. It's really annoying. But it's even more annoying now because they've got rid of the cache button. The only way that I can see it working now is to sort of like delete the app, reinstall it, log back in, then it's completely fresh, and you'll see all these hidden rooms that you didn't know were there as such. Or at least that's what I've had to do. If anyone knows a way around that, fantastic, let me know. So that's the examples. Now then, I wanted to show you next some tricks. I'm just going to go back to our demo here. These off. Turn this one on. Now, as you can see, the linear, you can basically make a straight line. But wherever you point that line is where the effect is. Like I can't bend that line. There's like no way to say get the blue on that side, but the pink at the top. And I'm sure you've come across this before because it happens to me all the time. There's like, I want that effect, but I want it to be slightly curved. There's not looking so straight like that. And that doesn't exist in Affinity, but there is a workaround, and you know I love my workarounds. So this is what there is. So if I go to tricks, as you can see, this gradient, if I go to path like this, you'll see that you can actually bend it any way you like, and it stays following the line. That's cool. It's exactly what we wanted. So if you were making a square, say, let's put a square here, get rid of the fill, just put a black line. So we've got this rectangle here, and we want just duplicate that and duplicate there. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to need the node tool and chop this line over there. That makes it easier. So what I was saying was, you come in straight from this angle, but then you have it turning up towards the top, like that. Now this is not big enough, which I'll just raise it now. We want it maybe 500, maybe maybe something like that. And I'll put that inside the rectangle. And just, so I can use that. Just like that. And now I'll change it to the colors that we were using. If I could remember how to do it. Yeah, we change the colors of it again. Maybe I'll come back to that and show you the tricks first. we'll try and work that out in a minute. I'm sure that'll work, but I've not actually tried it. Let's just get rid of it for a minute. Let's get back to this line. So, how have we made this line? This was not a gradient. I feel like I've kind of lied to you. So let's just make a normal stroke when we're not connected to that one. So let's just make a stroke along here. They need it 500 now. Let's turn that bit down. Let's make it 100 again. Yeah, just slow. I'm just gonna make these two nodes rounded, so it's like that. But what I'm gonna do to this line is go to FX, and I'm gonna give it an outline. I know it sounds strange, but bear with me. I always put scale object on, by the way, and then just give it an outline. Now then, we're not actually gonna give it an outline, and that's strange. But here we go. So as you can see in the context menu up here, you actually got other options. So instead of a solid color, we'll go to a contour, and oh look, it comes up as a gradient. So that's cool to know. The other thing that we want to do is not have it outside the shape, but inside the shape. So if I increase this now, you'll see that the lines go into the middle. Obviously, black and white at the middle, but you can see that if we push it so far, you've got the black and white gradient, just like that. And then you've got is that you can bend it and it never like distorts or anything, and just like you always wanted. So this is not the gradient, but it's a workaround for a gradient. So let's go back to FX outline, and we'll change. This is the bit that I was looking for just a minute ago that I forgot. So to change the color of that gradient, you go into here, and then it gives you this linear line that you see here. You probably recognized it in other programs. So what we do, we just change the outside, and then what color do we want? Do we want to match that one, or do we want to go a green? So the outside's got to be darker. Then go back to the other color, make it a lighter green. Now the problem that we've got is that it's on a black stroke right now. So if you bend it too much, etc., you'll see the black shine through, which is not ideal. To solve that, what we do, we get the stroke visible, like so, and then we change that stroke to match the green of the inside color, just like that. and then raise it back up. Oh, look, it's gone. And now, when we move the nades around, it's not there at all. Very cool. You can do this with shapes, as you can see here. We just get our shape, just like this. I'll leave it that green, so we don't have to make it green again. And then we just do the same. FX. I was putting scaled up to get the outline, and then change it to contour to get our gradient, and put it to inside. And there we go. Then just change the colors. So the first one, we want dark green. The outside one, we want a lighter green. Perfect. And then just adjust the contour till we get this. And it looks nice in 3D. And it bends around corners just like that. Very cool. Nice little workaround. Especially if we're trying in a minute works. So these letters down here are actually streaks as well. So that can be done just like this. So if we go to our text tool and get a letter, cool effect. Thanks, Tecmo. Just put in there anything tool. Just put in box. So here's our word. What we're going to do is just go to FX, just like we have done all the rest. I always put on scaled object, outline, and then in the context menu, just instead of solid color, you want contour, and then inside, and then just raise it. And when you see it start doing that, you know that you're done. And then you change your colors to whatever you want. Let's make this one orange. So the first color has got to be a darker version. And then the outside color, if I can click on it, is the light color. And then to get rid of that blue in the middle, what we do is go to where the colors and select the inside color, the bright one, and then just raise the effect. You have to go all the way on this one. About there. And I can see nice and 3D effect and bending gradients like a balloon effect. Yeah, I guess it is like that. Very cool. So the other thing that you can do with that is this gradient that we see here. You can add other colors. So just like our other gradients, you can just go add. That adds another node just here. And then you just select what color you would like for that one to be. So let's make this red. And as you can see, it's made that red in there. And then we can add another one. Let's make that that one. Let's make that what color? Blue. And we can add another one. And bring that one up here. And change that color to purple. Yeah, make that purple. As you can see, kept all those shades, so as you move, it will move with us. Just like that. Very cool. Probably confused the hell out of you now, but trust me, that is a way of doing it. So let's see if we can get our original trick to work. Now we know how to color it. So let's go into the actual thing, into effects, and change the gradient on the outline. So we're going from blue, this blue. We had in the middle, we had purple, and then on the end, we had pink, just like that. Let's see if we can do effect how we want it, which we can't. And it doesn't look like. It's got to be a way. I think what it is, that pink line, it's not thick enough. So let's go back into gradient and make that pink line thicker. If we come down, no, that doesn't work. How do I make that line bigger? Like on normal gradients, we just move the line, which we haven't got here. Your mum called you. Okay, see you in a sec. Trying to think how we would get that bigger. What if we make the whole streak bigger? Would that do it? Make this, I say 1,000. And I move it. If I can grab it. No, it doesn't work like that. Oh, I know. I got an idea. So, move the effect. That's what it is. So, if we go back to effect, into outline, we need to move this. Yeah, see, it gets bigger. So, move this whole thing back now. I think we know that. Working quite how I want it to do. It sort of is, but sort of isn't at the same time. You definitely couldn't pull this off with a normal gradient. Why is that gone like that now? You can delete that one. Yeah, there we go. That's not working how I thought it would. I'm trying to think how I would we need, if it would let me do that. And it's just getting worse. Still pretty crazy that you can have it go night little. So that's still cool. What if we made the shape that color? That's maybe what it is. Change that to that pink. Now the with the line. So come back down. I have to get rid of all these points again. So start off with there must be a way, but I just can't think right now. Yeah, pink on the side. Still cool effect. Because now you got the blue. It's very strange. Can't get these handles do I want. So let's try again. Now it's still not working out how I want it to. But you can see what I'm trying to do, right? I feel like we're so close, but I'm just doing something wrong, and I don't know what it is. Is it that I got to turn that whole thing on the side like that? Or have I got to make that blue? Ah, here we go. Now it's looking right. Hey, Renee. Tell me if you know this trick. So this is bending gradients. Something that's not usually you're able to do. So yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think that's right. We wanted one something like that. We'll leave it there. So very cool. And you can bend a gradient when you shouldn't be able to bend a gradient. So if I show you what that would look like, just duplicate that. No, not that. This. Duplicate that. And then get rid of the inner part. And give that a linear gradient of the blue. Cool. Pink. So yeah, we've gone from that to that, giving you the non-straight linear, if you like. This one always has that line between the two, whereas that one can get to do more what you want. So that's cool. We got there in the end. We just move those lines there. Very cool. So, yeah. I think that's it for examples and tricks. So let's get on with the challenge, which is to do basically anything that you've seen in this lesson. So whether you want a play with the thing that's not really grown or use gradients, that's all good. So we'll go to entries, which is what I'll show you on the live if we do get any. Very cool. And also anything. Oh, I forgot that you did send something, Renee. I didn't put it in. Duh. So this is Mavericks ones. I'll have to put it in next week, Renee. I'm sorry, I forgot. Because there's normally not anything. If you tried to say that, you'd probably laugh your head off. They, as you can see, some very cool stuff from Maverick. He does all these illustrations. Now, he was doing this record, as you can see here, and he chose Emerald Shores as the title. Now, that is the name of my comic. But I was like, it'll be even cooler if you put in Digital Canvas, which is the name of my intro song or outro song, whichever way you want to, what you redid, and put it in there. See some of the others. So he did an apricot jam, and there's the technical diagram I was done. Is there? He did this knife. He did like a poster, coffee poster from years ago. There. Sorry, he done this plate, which I like the stroke that is all those shapes around there. It's very cool. And then today's one was a compass, as you can see here, with again some very nice textures on. So yeah, next week I'll have to include yours, Renee, because I won't be able to bring it out now on the group. Been in once, yeah. So yeah, I'll include it next week. That brings us to how to ask. So you can ask in the chat, ask in the comments, ask in our Q&A section of the Discord, ask in the Facebook community. You don't remember entering anything. I'm sure I've seen something. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm making this all up. I'm sure I've seen entries from you. Maybe I didn't. Crazy. That's why they're not entered on here. Let's go with that. So we do a weekly Q&A, as you see here. The live is we do this every Friday. There's the links to the Discord, and you can feel free to ask anything you like, and we will try and answer. The other thing that we like talking about this time of year is the Backtober, which is our October challenge, if you like. So you're meant to draw something every day, and obviously we chose Backtober, but that was like years ago. So it doesn't have to be a vector. It could be, I don't know, a drawing, anything you like, any medium. But these are the prompts. They will be on the Instagram, on the Discord. Should be in loads of places that you should be able to find it. So I think that brings us back to Q&A section. And does anyone have anything they'd like to ask? Just let the chat catch up 2 minutes. I know how slow it is. Hopefully, sort of like that was okay for you, the gradients. I know I got a bit confused there, but we got there in the end. Still waiting for chat to catch up. looking at all the different avenues where we get questions. You might watch video again. Yeah, it was a bit confusing there for a sec. Especially when I start throwing in stuff that shouldn't really exist. But I'll find a way. So any questions, anything at all? Doesn't have to be Affinity, can be anything. If I don't know the answer, I will find out, get back to you. Can't see anything on comments on the Facebook group, in the Discord. You're concentrating while working on accounting. Okay, yeah. No questions from Renee. Oh, good. And that was good fake gradient effects. Yeah, absolutely. So I think we'll call it there. Thank you very much for coming, and I hope to see you all in the next one.
Paint strokes hit the screen like a heartbeat. Teek Fox in the zone, can't skip a beat. Tutorials blazing, it's spark the art. Digital cameras, when a legend starts.